Yeah, so we got to move into this. So Patrick Bet David, I did a video recently on he did the history of taxes, and it was really funny because he was trying to spin it as uh, the government never intended to do an income tax kind of thing, and what he really ignored but proved was, in fact, taxing the rich works, and we've done it many times in this country, and it's what built the middle class. It's what paid for the Civil War, right? But it kind of backfired, so we started ignoring a bunch of stuff. But that's kind of his shtick now. Is he is really, really upset about taxes because he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he doesn't want to have to pay taxes on that, guys. That's so mean. The argument, but he doesn't give you the context. So he's making it sound like these people are getting ripped off or something, and that's not what's happening. So let's look at the Kamala's plan real quick, just to kind of simplify this. So her plan on unrealized stock gains only applies to people worth $100 million or more.
So you're definitely worried about yourself, your family, and your neighbor, right?
Right.
It's definitely you.
Right. He's worth $100 million or more. So he's pissed because he's going to have to pay taxes. But for all of the rest of it, because he's talking to everybody in the stock market. No, very few of us in the stock market have $100 million.
So, note, I'm not going to have to do that.
No.
Mine is going to be fine.
No, unless you're in the top 10, one of the top 10,000 something people in this country, this doesn't apply to you. This applies to just a small sliver at the very top. This is what they do, is they just buy, borrow, die. And they never pay tax on that money. That's all this applies to. That's what's so funny. It applies to him. He's one of those people, and he's pissed about it. But that's why he's so pissed. And this is not a new idea. Vice President Kamala Harris' endorsement of a Biden administration plan that includes a tax on stock holdings that have grown in value has emerged in recent weeks as a talking point among conservative pundits and Trump supporters who agree it amounts to socialism or even communism. It's funny how it's socialism and communism when they raise taxes on them, but not when they raise taxes on the rest of us. Under the current system, federal government only taxes profits from stock investments, commonly known as capital gains, once the stock is sold. The plan backed by Harris would impose a levy on stock holdings as their value increases, whether they're cashed in or not. So basically what would happen is this. Patrick Bet David and his whatever he's got, let's say he's got $100 million in the stock market, and it grows by 10%. So he made $10 million in capital gains that year. Right? Now he's going to owe tax on that. And he's pissed off about it. That's what this whole video is. I'm pissed. I don't want to pay taxes. It's a rich guy crying about I don't want to pay taxes. We'll watch a little bit more because this just cracks me up.
Show you what the total number is at the end. So, one by one. This is just for individual revenue raisers for taxes to the government. Raise top tax rate on individuals to 39.6. If you go all the way to the right, you'll see from 2025 to 2034.
I want you to listen to how he does this, because he phrases this like we're all going to be paying this. When what he's not telling you is no, only the top few people are going to be paying it. This is only a wealth tax. So tax on the very wealthy.
Or that's going to generate them an additional $170 billion in 10 years. Next one, tax unrealized capital gains at death over $5 million. Impose a 28% tax rate on capital gains over $1 million. Another $171 billion. Expand a net investment tax base to active pass-through income. Another $257 billion to the government. Raise the net investment tax income from 3.8 to 5%. Another $125 billion. Raise the additional Medicare tax from 0.9 to 2.1. Oh, middle income's not going to pay for it. Who the hell pays that Medicare tax? Only people making over $400,000? Everybody does. That's
whoa. So, he's saying they're going to raise the additional Medicare tax from 0.9% to 2.1%. And that affects everybody. He just said that. Did I hear that correctly? That affects all of us, right? That's what he's saying. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. What is additional Medicare tax? Regular Medicare tax is what we all pay. Additional Medicare tax is a whole different thing. Here we go. H&R Block. Additional Medicare tax. What is the additional Medicare tax? Medicare is a federal health insurance program consisting of 3 parts, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Income up to a threshold amount is subject to the regular Medicare tax. What you, me, everybody else pays. Under the Affordable Care Act, taxpayers who earn above a set income level, depending on filing status, pay 0.9% more into Medicare on top of their regular contribution. This extra tax is called the additional Medicare tax. Who does it apply to? The threshold amounts are based on filing status. Single head of household, you have to make $200,000 a year or more. Right? How many Americans, well, let's see, for just this, married filing jointly 250, married filing separately 125. The percentage of Americans that make over that amount annually is about 5%. So this is only the top 5% of earners that are going to have to pay.
Okay,
this.
so I do have to say that married filing jointly number,
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a number of people in my world that would apply to, because here in the city where I live, you know, I'm thinking of married couples where they both have city jobs and have worked for the city for 20 years. They really probably do have that kind of income, you know?
Probably
So,
not after their deductions. Most people don't.
yeah,
after
maybe
their
not
deductions.
after deductions. Maybe.
No,
maybe.
this is only AMT that this applies to, so it wouldn't apply to most people. It does only apply to the top 5% of earners, average earners in this country.
Now, I can say in the single bracket, I personally can't think of even, I like using, you know, my environment, New York, as being one to measure it on, because our numbers tend to be bigger. You know, we're looking at bigger, larger wages,
Sure.
larger, you know,
Well,
than most people in the country. But I can't, there's not a lot of single people in my world that have hit that 200,000 on their own.
Well, let's say single 125, because you're not head of household, most people, right? Meaning you have a kid or something like that. Let's say it's 125 though,
Right.
for a single person, or even let's say 250 for a household, either or, right? You're paying that extra 0.9, now it's going to be 2.1% on income above this number. So how many of them are making above this number enough that makes a huge impact? If they're making 300,000, they're paying the extra 2.1 on 50,000.
Right. So,
After
I mean,
deduction.
that first, you know, if you're exempting that first dollar amount of people,
Yeah.
probably for people who are above that, the amount that is above that probably isn't a lot.
No, it isn't. Unless you're making $1 million a year. Then it's a pretty significant bump.
Sure. I mean, but if you make, you know, 10 grand above that amount, then you're maybe paying that on
Right.
10 grand worth.
Right.
Isn't necessarily a lot.
But the percentage of Americans...
And what was the
Well, but the
what was the percentage?
Oh, it's she's raising it to like 2.1.
It was
Yeah, here we go.
okay.
Let's go back. He looked at it here, but I liked how he bullshit you about this. They raised what is it? Here it is. Additional from 0.9 to 2.1.
Well, and part of the bullshit is that
He's making it sound like we're all going to pay it. That's the big thing that pisses me
he's
off.
making it seem like everybody is going to be paying all of these things when that's not like the case across the board, and he's kind of making it sound like it's an across the board thing.
Right. The other thing is what he's sort of ignored is he doesn't pay taxes on most of his income because it's coming from capital gains that he doesn't realize. He doesn't pay taxes. That's why when they say the rich aren't paying their fair share, because they're not paying taxes on most of the money they make. As when we're paying taxes on almost all the money we make. That's why it's not fair. It's this loophole that they're trying to close that they've been getting away with forever. That's what's pissing him off. They're about to close his loophole that he's been getting away with, and him and every other rich person forever. That's why he's so upset. And that's why he's trying to make it sound like it's your problem when it's not your problem. This is a Patrick Bet-David problem. This is Patty's issue. It's got nothing to do with the rest of us.
And for, you know, those of us that maybe make around those dollar amounts or slightly above, the impact on your wallet is still pretty minimal.
Right.
Because you're not making the gargantuous amount that turns that into a big dollar amount.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And the other thing about it is what will this do? This will provide more income for the federal government. The federal government will be able to pay down a lot of the national debt. With this, they should be able to pay down about $4 trillion of the national debt in the next 10 years. These guys are screaming about the national debt being a fucking horrible thing all the time. This is how you pay it off. You tax the rich people. They want to do it by cutting benefits to lower income people. So they want us to pay more in the taxes and get less in benefits, and somehow we're going to manage to survive and pay off this debt so they can keep all their shit.
All right, let's boil their theory down. Their theory boiled down is, hey, their life already is kind of crappy. Let's just make it a little crappier. They won't even hardly notice if it got worse.
Right.
That's kind of their theory.
This is the I don't want to pay taxes shit. That's all it is. So we'll watch the last part of this because he just cracks me up, this guy.
401132, you'll see it yourself. And by the way, do you know how they manipulate you with this plan to get you to think like this is a good idea? They're like, majority of the people agree that we should tax the people over $100 million in unrealized tax. Of course, it's not their money. Is that supposed to persuade me? Is that supposed to get me to say, oh my God, you're right, because majority agree? Oh yeah, for sure. Imagine I got 6 people living in the house, 4 kids, me and my wife, right? Imagine my oldest son comes and says, well, Dad, majority of people in this house agree that we should eat ice cream every day. No shit, Sherlock. Majority of people in this house are kids. Or imagine these guys are now 18, 19, 20 years old, and they say, Dad, majority of the people in the family agree that we should not pay rent and we should live here. Of course majority would agree on that. Because
right. Here's the deal, buddy.
So essentially, he's saying because he's trying to equate this to a family, and he's saying his vote is more important than the vote of the rest of his family. He's also saying that the rich people's vote is more important than the rest of America. What theory is that, Duncan? What theory is that?
It's your general right-wing hierarchy bullshit. This is goes back to what was our favorite one again? The Worthington Law, right? The rich people are better, and they should get exceptions. They're beyond criticism. And
they're so much smarter. They're the ones who should just make all the decisions too.
Well, here's where the analogy breaks down. One, the majority of this country are not children. And the majority of this country does a lot more work for less money. And the reason he has the money he has is because of the society that's built by the labor that provides him that infrastructure to have the society. How does he have internet? How does he have the roads, the bridges, the sewage, the electricity? How did he get his education, his publicly paid education? All of these things, military, police, fire, trash, all this shit, taxpayer money. His employees, publicly educated. His business, publicly licensed, protected. His money protected by the police and by the federal government. Otherwise, we just take it. His whole life revolves around this society and taxes being able to provide him the security and the opportunities to have the infrastructure to do the business he does, to have the money he has. Should he pay more? Yeah, he's getting more of the benefits of society than we are. Should he pay more dollar amount total? Yeah. Should he pay that much more interest or just the percentage amount? Probably not. I don't know. We could argue about it. My thought is the bottom line is, right now he's not paying tax on most of his money anyway. He's getting away with not paying taxes. So it doubly is fucked because he said, oh, they're going to convince you that, oh, you got to tax the rich. It's like, yeah, tax them, period. Because we're not right now. Because you're not paying taxes on most of your fucking money, Pat, and you know it.
Right.
So kiss my ass. You fucking crybaby, dude. Cry me a river.
Majority are not contributing towards the lifestyle and the costs and the expenses. That's why they would agree on that. So we can't fall for that trap of majority of the people agree on this plan, et cetera, et cetera. They've been doing this for a while, but
we can't fall for democracy, Lacey. No more majority rule. Can't fall for it.
a plan like this would destroy the U.S. economy.
Oh,
There's
no.
a part of me that thinks they use
It's going to destroy the U.S. economy.
this to scare the crap out of everybody, and then they go behind closed doors to all the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're getting from these billionaires, and they say, listen, these idiots, these low and middle income families don't understand how taxes work. Trust me, come out. I don't even know how it works, but they definitely don't know how it works. But I can fool them and scare them that I'm going to come back for you. I'm not. But when I say that, please don't feel bad about it. Just know that I'm still with you, right? Because of course I love my billionaire friends, because I need your money. Without you, I'd never get elected. Fair? Cool. All these billionaires, you know, terrible people that I have dinner with every night. Oh my God, it's so uncomfortable when they pay for my foie gras and my Kobe beef and my all this other stuff, right? These are bad people. In front of you, they're bad people. Behind closed doors, they're kissing their ass, because without them, they don't get reelected. You got to pay attention to this.
Okay, there is probably some truth to that. But the thing about it, what's so funny is, if that's the case, Pat, why do you fucking care? You know this is all bullshit anyway. Why are you railing against it if you know it's bullshit and they're not going to do it? Why?
Right. Why'd you just spend 12 minutes railing against it only to be like, they're not going to do that anyway? Like, what?
Because he's scared they're going to do
What's
it.
happening here?
That's why. Because he's scared they're going to do it. That's why he's fucking do it. He's trying to make it sound like I'm an insider and I know, I'm telling you the truth. It's like, yeah, there might be some truth to that, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter. I mean, if that were the case, this wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be talking about it.
Dude is talking himself in circles.
I know. He never gets anywhere. It makes any sense. I just wanted to watch this one little clip real quick with Robert Reich, an actual economist, talking about taxing the rich. Just real quick.
Income and wealth are now more concentrated at the top than at any time over the last 80 years. And our unjust tax system is a big reason why. The tax code is rigged for the rich, enabling a handful of wealthy individuals to exert undue influence over our economy and democracy. Conservatives fret about budget deficits. Well then, to pay for what the nation needs, ending poverty, universal health care, infrastructure, reversing climate change, investing in communities, so much more, the super wealthy have to pay their fair share.
And so he talks about this a little bit, but I want to get to this real quick.
At the top. In the 1950s, the highest tax rate on the richest Americans was over 90%. Even after tax deductions and credits, they still paid over 40%. But since then, tax rates have dropped dramatically. Today, after Trump's tax cuts, the richest Americans pay less than 26%, including deductions and credits. And this rate applies only to dollars earned in excess of $523,601.
So they're paying shit, is what he's saying. I mean, that's just the point. And Pat's all upset about, you're gonna actually make me pay taxes? I don't want to do that. It's not fair. It's like everybody in the household saying we want to eat ice cream every night. Well, no, the difference is, Pat, is you are paying for all the bills in that household. You're not fucking now. In your analogy, you're not in America.
Right.
Listen, kiss my ass with your analogy, dude. It's just, but yeah, go to his show. He is on this, man. He has done a ton of videos whining about having to pay taxes. It's just amazing. Amazing. I'll clip my other video I did where I break it down. It's long, but it's really fucking stupid. He basically proves that taxing the rich works, and he doesn't realize it. Because he's so stupid.
Oh my goodness.
But I wanted to clip to this.